After understanding all the variables, the types of intervals that are there, we come on to the most interesting section of statistics, and that's a frequency table and a frequency distribution, a frequency graph that could be drawn. Now, how does it happen? I have 10 students, all of them with a different stress level. So here are 10 students, each marked with a stress level ranging from 0 to 10. Now, there are 4 students who have a stress level of 8, that is high stress level. Those are marked here. The next 2 students that are there have a stress level of 2. They are very happy. So, I have 4 students with very high stress level, 2 students with a stress level of 2. So what I do is I take each of the student here and I bring it onto a table. My table starts from 0 to 10, and in this table of 0 to 10 I bring in each value. So the person with a stress level of 8 would go onto the section in 8. I'll mark a line here. So if there are 4 lines, then the 5th line would cut it, and that's how you represent a frequency table. Now once you have drawn all the lines, you total out the stress values. So let's say for stress level 2, you have 2 values or 2 persons that are there. For stress level 8, you have 4 persons that are there. Now this frequency table that you have here can now be depicted in a form of graph. So it would be a x-axis versus a y-axis. X-axis would be the level of stress that's there ranging from 0 to 10, and then you would have y-axis, which would represent what? This would represent the stress level. So stress level is here, and this would represent the frequency, the number of people with the same stress. So let's say that would range from 0 to 5 again. So the people who are having a stress level of 8 would be 4. So they would be marked at a 4 column here. And that's how we would create a frequency distribution. Now, what is a difference between a frequency distribution created here and a histogram? So histogram is similar to a city skyline. So if you look to a city from the skyline view, you would see the height of the city varies. So each of the skyscraper buildings would have a different height, and that's where you can draw the line considering the top level. And that's how we understand a histogram. So histogram is again a continuous depiction of the value without any spaces. So under the bar graph, we do have spaces, we do have intervals. Under histogram, we don't have an interval. So anything which is represented here and drawn as a histogram would appear like this. So histogram is similar to a bar-like graph, but there are no spaces. The height and the values are fixed for each of the sections that are taken into account. Again, there is one more interesting thing, and that is grouped frequency. So what I can do is I can group the stress level from, let's say, 0 to 3, 6 to 4 to 6, 7 to 9, and 10 and above. So those could be my 4 categories that I could take into account, and based on those categories I can further rearrange the same data that I have. So these 10 students with different stress level, all those who are lying with the stress level of 2 to 3 would be in one category, 4 to 6 in another category, 7 to 9 in another category, and 10 and above in another category. So that's how we group the data, and then we have a grouped frequency table, and with the grouped frequency table we have a grouped frequency polygon that could be drawn. So arranging and organizing, as we said, is a primary objective under statistics. Once you have a huge set of data, here I was talking about just 10 numbers. But let's say you are doing a census survey for the whole of the country, you have millions of people who are there. So when you have to arrange such a huge lot of data, what is important is arranging that data systematically. So once that data is systematically arranged, any kind of result that you want to find out. Let's say it's an extrapolation where you want to find out the population rise in 2050 or 2080. How can you do it? This could be done only if you have the present data with a systematic arrangement along with the past data with a systematic arrangement, and then you can extrapolate it and find out the next data. So this is the very basic of understanding this frequency distribution.